Welcome to Yerba Mate Talks.
Welcome to the Aftershow. I am Max. This is Kat. And today we have a debate between the one, the only, the Irish menace, Raquel Wilson, and Amanda. It was something boring. That would be, it was boring. And that's the Aftershow. Bye. Good night. No, we'll do this thing properly. No, wait, no. Sunflower, it's not. That is too sophisticated. It's Raquel. Like that. Raquel. And I mean, if you want to actually be pedantic about it, it's La Raquel. But it only makes sense if you know Spanish. Okay, hold on. Let me. Shin was asking to talk with Poindexter, but that guy's banned. Yes, he is banned. I don't remember exactly why, but I do trust my judgment on the topic, so I guess I didn't make a mistake. Pin. There we go. Sorry for that. It's Friday. We're back to having debates again. All right. Put the link, pin it before we go. Make sure to the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other. Go to the corner, use the corner of your screen and you'll subscribe to Share Mate Talks. And that way we can share that up for the channel. All right. Sunflower, why the change in the name? That's weird. All right. Raquel, Amanda. Raquel Teises. Raquel was insufferable. I also want to read her book to see how bad it is or how much I'll cringe. Send me a Discord DM. Oh, it's the YouTube bug thing with the usernames and so on. Hold on, let me. That's way too much. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
You have a little bit of background noise, but it's okay. I guess it's okay. All right. Do you have you been here before? Do you know what we do kind of in the after show?
No, it's my first time.
Okay. So we basically give our thoughts on the debate and the arguments, the openings, and the open discussion, etc. So let me ask you, as far as the openings go, Amanda was the one that opened, right? So thoughts on Amanda's opening statement?
She's a very beautiful woman, Amanda.
No, you're just here to troll.
No. I just think she's a very beautiful woman. Is that wrong to say?
Are you just here to troll? That is
No.
kind of boring.
It's not boring. You said the debate was boring. I think that's pretty offensive.
The debate, it was boring.
Why was it boring? Let's start with that.
because Amanda wasn't engaging, even though I agree with her position. Her delivery is not the best.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay. So, do you have any other thoughts on the actual opening statement regarding the argument?
They had a good argument.
Oh. This is kind of boring.
I'm trying to kind of mirror the debate, you know, make our after show congruent with the debate.
Well, it's my after show, so let me. I'll deal with how we do that. Why don't you answer the question honestly? Because what we do is we talk about the main question. So I mean that's funner than whatever.
Here I am.
Hello. The
Who's
last
this
couple
guy?
of times, sunflower.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sunflower.
I'm that boy from Jersey with all that money.
You listen, sunflower. Remember that the last couple of times there were incidents with you, so I hope you're calm down and we can have a nice after show without you going all fucking crazy. Okay?
I don't know.
That doesn't bode well.
Look,
So
I'm from Jersey. Like, we move different out here, bro. Like, we're really about it. Like,
I'm sorry, are you drunk? Excuse me.
no comment, Your Honor. No
Yeah.
comment, Your Honor.
Oh no, this is really not going to be good. Okay, can you give me your thoughts on Amanda's opening?
Well, it's clear to me Amanda is a person living in a state of desperation. I've seen worse. I've seen worse.
Can you talk about like her argument and not do a personal attack?
Well, the problem with her argument is she had her facts wrong, right? At one point, she tried to confront the gender wage gap, and she was so wrong about her assessment of it that it threw everything out of whack. She was like, "Well, women who don't choose."
Wait. But that happened towards the end of the open discussion.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Listen to me. Do you have thoughts on Amanda's opening statement?
Oh, not really. They were both very generic opening statements.
Okay, fair enough. It didn't blow me away, Amanda's opening. She had some facts there. The problem is that with Raquel, that's exactly what's in dispute. So I also think that the arts and the surrounding documentation that supports the position, I think that is a cool argument. But if you use it as a complement, as something like historical, right? So I think it just doesn't stand as an argument on its own, just citing, for example, the art. I think it's better as I think it's better when backing actual, historical evidence, and also you can reinforce it with those side things. I think that is good, but on its own, I think it's weak. Basil says for $5, thank you so much. MD is completely captured by the crucible, not even pretending. I heard actually that you had a bunch of super chats censored by the man, the machine, the JC himself went and like, nope, I'm sorry. Yeah, it does look like a little bit of a takeover, but never mind. All right, Raquel's opening. it was weird because Raquel started asking questions during her opening, and they just went into the open discussion. So Raquel had no opening at all.
Yeah, I felt like she didn't really make a positive statement. She just kind of muddied the waters with a lot of these questions that never got answered.
Okay.
That is true though, because Amanda, look, this is the sad thing about liberal debaters. Like, you get to a point where Amanda is the person you have to like. That's your soldier on the front lines, and you're like, oh fuck, like damn, like this is what we have going. Like, it was such a poor performance. That's like, even if she's objectively right about her position, she did such a bad job that it's like you guys are gonna lose bad. Every election, every future election, it's just gonna be just fucking L after L after L after L after L. Like, unless you bring people better than Amanda, who was clueless. Let's be honest. She didn't know her ass from her fucking elbow. She was lost in the fucking water. She was flailing for. I mean, that was unbelievably bad. One of the worst performances ever on MTV.
No.
You know it, dude. You know it. Yeah.
No. In a world where Nadir has debated, I don't think Amanda did particularly well. But
she didn't even know the material. It's like she was just there to like. This is debutante. That's the word I would. Debutante. That's the word I would. Do you know that word? Do you know that word?
Yeah, of course I know that word.
That's what I would use for Amanda.
How do you say that in Spanish?
Doesn't matter.
Debutante.
Yeah, probably. Yes.
Like, she had no debate acumen. She was just there to like sort of be like, I'm here. It's my moment.
Okay.
It's my 15 minutes of fame. I'm gonna debunk the bad anti-feminist girl. I'm gonna get my little praise on the debate. It's like, dude,
okay, calm down.
You're gonna get dog walked.
Calm down.
I'm very excited right now. I'm sorry.
Yes, but it's too much. Dial it back.
Come on, Max. You know you've been there before. You've been on those 3-day benders on Molly.
Yes, but I never did anything like that. My benders didn't include live streaming.
Why not? It just enhances it.
You should try that.
No.
You might get more than the 7 people watching right now.
Oh, it's just today is 7. Sometimes it's 100.
There was an old channel, but like the main guy got busted for being a literal pedo. So yeah.
Why are you bringing that up now? We've moved on from that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he has 7 viewers, but that's not really fair because the old channel had more. But yeah, it kind of went down in flames.
But it has nothing to do with this channel.
Well, it's kind of the same, like, spiritual success. It's like this is like the spiritual successor to that channel, but it's not fair to say 7 viewers because like they used to have more. But yeah, like the main guy got busted for being.
But
like,
it happens, dude. It happens. Sometimes it's 7. Sometimes it's 100. It depends on what we do with.
Sometimes it's 1,000.
It could happen to anybody that your co-host having a crime happen like that. It could happen to anybody, really.
I don't live in even the same hemisphere, so I never knew him in real life. So I don't see how someone else doing something is my problem.
No, it's not. I mean, I think that's what we're saying. Is like that's why only 7 viewers because.
And I found out that
viewership from the last channel that was more viewers, but
no, they're all here. They're just
they're not all here.
Yeah, they're all here. They're not all here now on this particular stream. But me having to explain this to you is so boring. You're both You're both the worst Aftershow panelists we've ever had. So
are we worse than Rachel
that.
Wilson though? I don't know if we're worse than Rachel
Raquel,
Wilson.
It would be a lot of fun me talking to her.
She has a lot of interesting. I was looking up her book when she was doing her opening statement, and it's all about like how the devil and the CIA like made feminism, all that stuff. And I wish she like delved more into that.
No, but as we've said here, you're 100% correct on that. We agree. The book, I have it. I still haven't finished reading it though, but it does say stuff like that. And I think Amanda was underprepared for that very specific thing. I think Amanda could have just stuck to the book and done the proper
Exactly.
investigation.
Yeah, make her defend the book.
Finally, a fun person. Hey, Isa. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We have Sunflower and Bill here. Isa, thoughts on the openings and the debate?
I didn't really get to see them,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, I'm kind of
Damn you.
I kind of checked in and out, but I didn't really fully
Oh,
vibe. So
why? Boring?
well, I was also watching a movie, so it just
Booty call. Yeah, we all know that one.
Nanteria dai torno ile.
He just said something very dirty. I don't know what he said actually. Okay, so no openings. Movie in the middle. Boring. Did you get bored when you watched? Because that was happened to me. It was a very unengaging debate.
I did when I clicked in. I was like,
Finding tutor for Sam.
oh, sorry. When I clicked in, I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, this is not my jam.
Same. Thank you, Epic. Same.
So, yeah, Amanda, maybe it's weird because I remember Amanda was the one that went up to Rachel to ask a question during the Craig debate and said that she was a debate coach, right? I think that's her.
Some coach.
Well, that was definitely a lie if we all are being honest here, right?
No, I mean, that's weird because she got asked today the laws of logic and she couldn't do that, and that
The
is
excluded middle, the non-contradiction, the kind of stuff. Yeah.
One more, you can do it. One more.
The last one's
You got
identity.
this.
You talking about identity?
Yes.
Yeah. Excluded middle is disputed by some people though.
Yeah. I mean, there are philosophy can take a bunch of weird turns.
What I couldn't believe though was Amanda tried to apprehend the gender wage gap point by saying like it seemed as though she actually didn't understand the concept of averages. That she was saying like, oh no, because the pay decrease that from women that do take maternity leave is thrust upon the women who don't, as if to say like every woman is paid less when actually some women are paid the most. I think
I've had a lot of problems with women understanding averages too. I tell them,
like I actually don't,
and they don't get it. They say, no, that's not average, that's small, and I say it's not small, it's average.
That's too relatable
Oh my
to me.
god, that is
Amanda didn't seem to understand the wage gap in terms of averages. I will say that 100%. Like that is a fact. When she tried to contend with it, she was saying like somehow it's thrust upon all women. It's like, no, you don't understand. This data is extrapolated after the fact. The wages are already calculated. It disappears when you account for the factors because it doesn't exist. And she was like, well, no, but it's not fair to the women that don't take maternity leave.
Wait,
like,
what? What did you say?
Amanda tried to argue like it's not fair to the women that don't take maternity leave because they're still being paid less because of the women that do, or somehow like depressing wages for women, which is like such a ridiculously bastardization and just misrepresentation of what the wage gap in data is. But she said, I swear to God, she said that in the debate. She said that exact point. Like
I have no idea what I mean, I understand the concept, but I don't know how the wage gap actually works because here you get paid the same.
It's an average, but the whole point that she even admitted was like, yeah, okay, the wage gap disappears when you account for.
Yeah, but an average of what?
It's women are paid on average less than men
for the same job, right?
For across the board.
Every job, yeah.
Yeah, everything.
You average out every.
Yeah,
job.
in each category individually. Yeah.
But
Okay,
famously, when
but why?
Yeah, famously, women work less hours and take more time off. The big one is for maternity leave and things like that. But just even in general. The whole point is that when you look at the wages of women that don't take time off and don't have kids, then and you just crunch those numbers against average male wages. Now there's no longer any difference. That's like the anti-feminist argument of like, well, the wage gap is a result of choices that women make that are different. It's not just like inevitable, right? But then Amanda's point was like, oh, but even the women that don't make lifestyle choices, they're still subject to the depressed wages of women because of the women that do, which is a complete misunderstanding of how averages work and the entire subject in general. So yeah, that point was like that. When I heard that, I was like, oh, she's cooked. Like she has no idea what she's talking about, basically.
All right. Okay.
She brought up the wage gap thing at DebateCon as well. She was at DebateCon. Amanda was.
Right. So she was the one that I was thinking of, the one that said she was a debate coach, right?
Yes.
I knew her. Basil for $5. My last calculation was 927 for questioners who had been with a woman. These two are in the denominator. Thank you. I don't know if you noticed that James is playing coy with room 627. I think
I have no idea anything that happened there at all until I got home.
Something is afoot. I smell conspiracy for sure. Okay. Isa, why did you?
I actually have a question. So I was reviewing it because I think it's like, because I did have other things that were happening. I was reviewing the opening of Amanda, so I did have a question. Looking at what I saw, the one thing that I've noticed in a lot of these debates on feminism is, what is feminism? It's like kind of this amorphous thing that can be whatever you want it to be. That's kind of what I felt when I was looking at Amanda's opening. It's just like, well, everything that's good and butterflies and sweet and, you know, candy canes, that's feminism.
Yes. Thank you.
It's this. Well, you're welcome, Sunflower. It's the same thing that I think about when we talk about God's not dead and they tell us what a Christian is. They're like, oh, they're just sweet, wonderful, beautiful things. We don't really know what it is. We don't know what a Christian is, but they're just nice, good things. And that's kind of what I felt when I listened to Amanda's opening, reviewing it right now. It's just like, we're against inequality. We believe, you know, this will help men. And it's so good. And I'm like, okay, so what is it? What is feminism? Why does it do good things? Well, I don't know. From her entire opening, I saw things about like Title IX, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but what is feminism? And why are you defending it? And I don't think she did that. And I think we've seen another feminism debate, and it's the same problem. We don't know what feminism is. So for them, it's just something that's all good, beautiful, butterflies, and fun, good time, and that's feminism. That's my understanding of all these debates on feminism. It's everything good, and it's against everything bad.
So true. Do you remember the Q&A when someone asked, like, why isn't it just called equality? And literally Amanda was like, I don't know. Like, holy F. Like, her answer to that question was literally, oh, good question. I guess because we're women and we like to call it feminism. It was like, okay, holy crap. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Am I right?
I agree with you, Sunflower. I do think that's weird. Why not just call it equality? Why
exactly? Amanda has no idea what she was talking about.
Hold on.
She was ill prepared
because equality
made a fool out of.
It happened. It happened in stages, because the first stages of feminism, it was like purely about women, right? And then for other movements,
which Amanda didn't know,
we
apparently
categorized them into other movements. So the March for Gay Rights has its own kind of pathway in history, and that's how we historically keep track of these things.
The problem is Amanda didn't even know. That's the problem. She didn't know. She didn't say like, oh, it started off with, you know, women's right to vote. She just said like, oh, I don't know. I guess it should be called equality. We're just
Thing is-
women, so we called it feminism. I don't know.
It took
It's like,
almost
wow,
took-
that's a fucking awful look.
in the UK. It took like 50 years for women to get public restrooms when men had public restrooms in the UK.
And
Fun
well,
fact.
now it's crazy. The horseshoe theory. Now men can go into those women's public restrooms. So it was very short lived, I guess.
Trans women are not men.
Well, I mean, potato.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Are you really going to talk about bathrooms with me? You know,
I
that
didn't
the
bring it up. I'm just
solution-
saying, like,
You
in
know
terms
that
of
the
I
solution
just gave an
would-
example, and you brought trans women into this.
well,
That's
yeah, in
not
terms of
discussion.
safety,
Trans
like,
women are
and
not
you talk
unsafe.
bathroom, and you talk bathroom. So
you're saying trans women are
if
not.
You're going to talk that. You're
Yeah.
going to talk about that.
You're
with
saying
me.
trans
1
women are
second.
not more of a risk to women than.
in
They're not a
bathroom.
risk.
No,
So you think that
more
hold on a
than
second.
more than the
Cis men?
inherent risk of going into the bathroom. Yeah, like just a
People
man.
go to
So
the
if it
bathroom,
was-
do
if
their
it was
business,
all-
and get out.
If it was all cis women versus 25% trans women, there would be no increase in any risk at all.
The trans women are more likely to get assaulted.
Oh, okay. So there's
No.
there would be
They
no.
are. They're more likely to be harassed and assaulted in a women's restroom.
Okay, so there's no increase of risk of
No,
assault from trans women.
no, and in general,
Okay, good to know. I'll note
the
that down.
the society that I think that we should strive for is a society in which it doesn't matter whatever happened if you're at the toilet, that you should be safe, right?
Well, yeah, you can strive for that, but what's
Ah.
happening in the meantime? You got to at least
Ah.
keep people safe until we get to the utopia, right?
And the
Right.
thing is, nothing's
Right.
stopping a cis man from entering a women's restroom. Just saying.
Well, laws are right. He can be arrested.
Well, the law is there to punish you if you do that. What actually prevents people going into bathrooms is, education.
Well, that's a
So,
deterrent, though. If you know you're
manners.
going to get in trouble if you do something, then it's a deterrent.
Yeah, but it's a deterrent to the point that if you get caught. But if you do not get caught, then it's
well,
not a deterrent.
It's
Do you
okay.
understand how that works?
Yeah, but I think that's
Okay.
generally worked pretty well throughout history.
Fun fact, I've
Right.
used all gender bathrooms, which are a normal bathroom, but anyone can go in. Guess what? Nothing bad happens because people go to the bathroom, but 999 times out of 1,000 to do their business, wash their hands, get out.
Why are
People
there
go to
so
the
many
bathroom,
examples of assaults happening by trans people in bathrooms? Then
They're happening
Oh,
to the trans
really?
people more often.
no, there's examples happening from them too.
Are the trans people washing their hands
can-
less often?
You can
Start
Google it.
start pulling it out. No.
You want me to Google it?
You made
Let's
the claim.
Google it.
Okay, so when I pull up an example, are you gonna say it's fake, or are you gonna just?
An example. I would need
Oh, well,
more
how
than
can I-
an
okay.
example. No, but I'm telling
Alright.
you from the start. I'm not.
If
moving
one-
it
one
over.
example-
It's happening
an
at some.
outlier.
It's happening on some level. We can all agree, right?
Yeah,
Assaults
but
happen on every
point,
level.
to the point that there is other things that are happening on some level, then why should we even care?
What do you mean? You do the best you can. You can't prevent everything, but you do the best you can to.
Right. But telling me there was this isolated case of a trans person.
There's a
doing
lot of
cocaine.
cases.
No, wait, hold on.
List them, name them,
Stop.
rate them.
No, hold on.
Sorry.
Let me lay it out. Because you now just moved from I'll get you one to there's a lot of them. If there's
Like,
a lot
how
of
many
them,
should I
then
get?
you had to give me a lot of them. I don't know
What's
how
a
much
lot?
is a lot.
Yeah, you name
When
your number.
we're talking about crimes, how much is a lot in a country of 300 million people?
Okay, but also keep in mind, if it used to be 0 and then a law changed and now it's not 0, that's a
It was never
significant-
0.
Well, no, we're talking about trans women, trans people assaulting people in bathrooms.
Yeah, they're all people.
There was definitely years where that was probably 0.
Everyone is people.
I'm sure that
Just-
was 0. and
Just
it, like, for
FYI.
several like there's definitely been years where that was 0.
Another claim that we're going to have to investigate. because you're supposed to be getting me, trans people doing stuff, bad stuff, right? And I don't know, you didn't tell me how much is a lot to consider that is something that we should specifically pay attention to in a country with the population of the US.
And so brings a good point that are trans people assaulting people more than cis people in restrooms as well?
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
think I've
I
ever
think we
seen a
should
trans
focus on educating people into understanding why SA is not okay. But
If they
that
take a test
requires
and they'll learn not to assault people, is that how it works?
no. That's not really. That's not the only way you educate people. Like
What, you
testing and
beat
stuff.
them if they assault people?
No, education doesn't involve beating.
It might. It could teach you some things, beatings.
Uh-huh. Really?
I'm just
So
saying.
it wasn't a cut of the line. So per se,
Got
James asked if anyone had a question for Rachel, and she was the only one that had a question for Rachel, and that's
Yeah.
why she's able to go to the front.
Basil for $5 says, Amanda, cut the line during the debate con debate. She's a plant.
I wanted to ask a question. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
anything.
no problem.
So I'm looking at the openings because I wanted to review them because now I have some time. While you guys were talking, I was like, let me review the openings some more so I can make sure I can offer more feedback. So when I was listening to Amanda's opening, Amanda basically said that feminism equals equality. It benefits all of society. I think these are very nice statements, but if you don't really have evidence for them, they come off as platitudes. So then I was listening to Rachel's, or what you call Raquel's, opening, and she was then bringing up the point. She used her opening as a counter position, which is a thing we usually don't agree with primarily, but I understand why she was doing it, because she was like, I want to know what you mean by feminism. And I think that's a smart move, because we need to know what it is. The rainbows and the butterflies, that's nice, but what is feminism? And I think Rachel's opening was actually pretty strong when she was like, okay, well, we look at, equality, fraternity, and freedom, like the French precepts for, American and French precepts for the modern world, and I thought it was interesting because it's an interesting question, because she was like, well, feminism she's like, I like, there's some interesting sentiments about freedom, equality, all of this stuff, but what are the presuppositions that are needed into doing that? And I think it is an interesting question. The trans question is a very important question for feminism, because there are different kinds of feminists. You have a trans exclusionary radical feminist, then you have, the trans inclusionary feminist. This is an important thing, because how do we define what gender is? And I think that this is a big battleground, and it's an important question in how you do that. And I think, Rachel then asked the question, well, how do you view this? How do you view, trans elements? And then she basically was like, Amanda brought up the point, well, she doesn't believe in minor gender affirming care. She doesn't believe in that position. And I'm like, this is an important question, because we have to know what a feminist is. We have to know what a Christian is. We have to know what a Muslim is. We've got to know what these terms are. And I think that's one of the biggest problems I see in all of these modern day debates. We don't define terms. If we don't define terms, then what are we debating about? And I think that that is a big problem that I'm seeing so far.
All right. Basil for $5 says, guaranteed, Isa will align with the Andrew Wilson side. Come on. I
mean, I'm going to align with the side that has better arguments. I mean, that's I'm being objective. It's not about, well, do I like the opinions? It's more like, what is being argued better, you know? And I think a lot of liberals and leftists are getting lazy on these spaces. They're like, yeah, we're on the right side of things. And then they come to the debate and they're not prepared. And that's why conservatives do a better job, is because they come with counterpoints. So I'm like, leftists, you got to come in and you got to be equipped. You can't come in weak. You know, I like someone like Planet Peterson. That's someone who like comes in and is equipped with tools, you know? So you need to come in and be equipped. You can't just come in and be like, yeah, I'm on the right side of things, so I'm just right, you know? That's not good.
Is
Right.
Planet Peterson related to the good doctor Jordan Peterson?
No.
No, his name's really
Oh.
Eric, I think.
Eric. Okay. I'll have to look him up.
You are very weird.
Peterson's
I'm
cool.
weird.
Yes.
All right.
Because how do you not know him?
I posted two
Planet
examples.
Peterson, I should say.
Two examples
I'm
of
new to
trans
this.
people
I'm just trying to-
assaulting minors in bathrooms.
Where?
You're the one that made an issue about trans people. I just meant
Do me
that-
a favor, Sunflower. Put it in the private chat, but put the link.
The link, okay.
Yeah.
I just brought up bathrooms. You're the one that made it about trans people using bathrooms. I just brought
Yeah, I mean,
public
I
restrooms.
don't know why it is.
What do you mean? Yeah, I brought it
particularly a
up,
thing.
so.
In a better world.
Wait, how is that a point? What is the point?
This isn't a debate about trans people. It's about
What? You can't bring up points?
you're not understanding.
Okay, explain.
I do not. Where this is an overview of the debate, and I just
Yeah.
brought up we have feminism to thank that there are public bathrooms,
And I'm
you had
saying
to bring the
feminism didn't
trans
help.
people into the
in-
issue.
I'm giving a counterpoint and saying, well, feminism didn't help. We don't have them to thank if they caused more harm than good. That's a valid angle.
Yeah, but why more harm than good?
Can
to
Rubik's
what?
answer that?
What?
Is that not a valid angle to say if it's doing more harm than good, then we don't have them to quote unquote thank for it?
I think there's no trans people do not pose the issue.
But isn't it
that
still
right-
a valid? It's at least a valid angle for me to take, right?
It's a misinformed angle.
But if I believe it to be true, it's not bringing up something irrelevant, right? It's still at least a valid thing to bring up.
Depends on
Fair.
what feminism means. If you take feminism,
Okay,
to
thank you.
mean
Thank you for at least
that trans
explaining.
people are included in that, then maybe yeah. But if you take feminism to mean like traditionally like just cis women,
Yeah,
then
the
it's
female,
not a-
right? I take feminism to mean female, so I don't really consider trans women part of feminism, personally.
Well, that's fine, and no one cares.
A lot of people care, actually. J.K. Rowling cares.
Part of the definition we got. It's back to definitions. We need to define what kind of feminism we're talking about.
Yeah, but to the effects of this debate, it's irrelevant.
And that was my
That's
point.
not true at all.
It
It's
doesn't
very
matter.
relevant.
No, because the debate is concerned with what's best for women. Whether you include trans women when you say women or not doesn't change.
Well, that
the
totally
broader-
changes it. If you
How do we?
include them.
Yeah, how do we
Yeah,
know?
if you
what
include
the
them or
best
not change-
effects are?
What do you
doesn't
mean? What,
We don't
change
know what a
the
woman is.
broader
wait,
conversation.
hold on a second. It definitely changes. Why do you think TERFs are even a thing? They clearly disagree with you.
Why do I think what?
TERFs clearly disagree with you that it doesn't change anything whether or not you include trans women in the feminist struggle, right? That like they're diametrically opposed to you on this topic. That's their entire like point.
No, but it's different. It's a different thing. That's why you can split it.
What?
Because, for
What?
example, at the time,
Nonsense, dude.
yes,
Bullshit.
at the time in the U.S. of women trying to get the vote, trans people and gay people were still very heavily not socially accepted. So their struggle happened at different times because things became acceptable at different times.
It had nothing to do with it. The point is, does feminist
That's why you can
ultimately
split
a
the
net good?
feminist,
net good or net bad feminism?
right? But there, net. Okay, who does getting the more rights for women support? Women. right?
Until men start dominating their own fields and displacing them in scholarships and other things.
It doesn't happen because
It absolutely happens, and this is well documented. So
no,
you're not gonna win that
can't
one.
be, because trans
No.
people are like 1% of the population.
Yeah, well,
I don't
okay.
think I've ever
1%
seen
of
trans
women are
people.
displaced instead of lifted up into equality. They're being displaced by men.
In a world,
That doesn't sound very successful.
in a world of 8 billion people. So
Not in America, there's not a billion.
Some people get displaced at more rate than that.
Yeah, women
because
get
they're-
displaced because that's
let me
bad
finish.
for women. You're right.
Let me finish. Some other random people get displaced by other people because they're taller and they can play basketball, so they get out. Like, yeah,
Right.
okay.
Allen Iverson wasn't that tall though.
And yeah, so and I would say the cause of short people probably does get discriminated against by the NBA. I wouldn't disagree with you, but that doesn't negate
Right,
the fact
but
that women are suffering too from trans men.
1%,
From
yeah,
trans
but
women.
it's not significant to anything else that
It's
happens
absolutely
naturally.
significant. No, you're wrong.
Hold on.
Yep, it's
No,
significant.
because we accept that some people are born tall, some people are born short, some people are born very fast, and some people are
and
very
we don't
strong.
let people in different weight classes compete. We have different categories for competition.
Sure.
And men who have a biological advantage don't compete with women for a reason. So what's your point here again?
Yeah, but we do let people compete in the same weight classes with a height difference.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes the combination is someone is very much taller but thinner.
But we do the best we
can make
can
up
to
the
make
weight.
to make things fair.
To make it fair, right?
Right. So
Sure.
when Leah Thomas comes in and sweeps
So now
all
when
the
we
swimmers
have a
out,
pool,
when Leah
or
Thomas,
have
the
a
swimmer,
pool,
beats everyone,
when we have a pool of people that includes trans people, maybe we should think of an innovative solution. But it doesn't matter with regards to the feminism topic. Your obsession
How does
with
that not
trans
matter?
with the trans debate is
Can you explain
no
how that
one's
doesn't
problem.
matter though? Like
I
if your
can.
goal is, can you
You
explain
can
how?
consider that or not, and it's the
Well,
same.
so
thing.
so you're saying that it could matter, but just right now it's such a low level
No,
that
it doesn't.
No, I'm saying no. So I get your point. You're saying that it's happening at such a small rate that it's basically negligible, but you're not saying that it fundamentally could never matter. You're just saying right now it's just not happening enough to matter. Is that accurate?
No, that was
That's not accurate.
that was like a side comment.
So wait.
No.
So explain again how the amount that it's happening is not related to this.
Because feminism, that is something that is a struggle of the trans community. It doesn't have to do with feminism itself, which just looks for equality for women, whether you consider that trans people are included there or not. It's irrelevant to the broader topic.
How could it be
Do you
irrelevant to
understand?
whether or not women, biological women, are faring better or worse in life? Is that not the most relevant possible thing of the goal of mission of
It doesn't
feminism?
matter. I say both. I want rights for women, and my group of women just includes more people than yours.
Oh, okay. So you're
That's
saying,
it.
yeah, so even if biological women fail miserably, and it's all, and it in the hypothetical future, it's just all trans women, and there's no biological cis women in any field, you'd still say, okay, if feminism
Get it out.
succeeded, you'd still say
Get
feminism.
it out, Raquel. Don't you
I'm just
love-
asking.
That was such a Raquel thing to
It's a
do.
hypothetical. It's
Yeah.
hypothetical.
Why would
It's a
that
hypo-
hypothetical
one
happen?
second.
Would that
One
still
second.
be a
Sorry.
success for
Welcome,
feminism?
Ale. But hold on.
Okay.
Raquel, listen to me, Raquel Sunflower. Listen. Your hypothetical hinges on an apocalyptic scenario.
How is that?
How much imagination should I grant you so that you can make your argument?
It's not that much imagination. There's a point where black people weren't allowed to compete in sports. Now look, they're the majority.
Oh, they're
It's not.
so good.
It's not that
so good at
crazy to.
sports.
It's not that crazy to think that if you let trans women compete in women's leagues, that they will eventually become the majority. It's not crazy at all.
Right.
LeBron-
In fact, it logically follows.
Something that happens consistently everywhere at around 1% of the world population. You think that somehow
What percent are
the
athletes?
trans population?
It's way less than 1%.
Yes, you have. Yeah, dummy, keep up with me. Shut up and listen. Open up your ears. How 1% of people in the world are trans, right? That's a very low number, average, whatever, right? Now, out of that 1%, how many of those are athletes? That's even less people. So you're very concerned and very agitated while arguing over something which the incidence is very low.
Do you
You're
think
not going
there's-
to get competed by a trans athlete.
Oh, you're right. Leah
Not
Thomas
Flower,
never.
you're okay.
Leah Thomas. You're right. Just a fake story. Didn't happen.
It's not going
Right,
to.
but that affects how many people?
Okay. Right. Okay. So
No,
again,
that actually
now
is
you're.
bad because the chick who lost to Leah Thomas, Riley Gaines, she's a total moron, and now I have to hear what she has to say all the time because that thing gave her a national platform. I don't want to hear. She came in like 5th place. Why do I have to listen to her just because she lost a race to a man?
Fair point. Fair point. But again,
I
do you
have
think
no
there's never
idea.
been a single instance ever of a person that wasn't really
No,
trans?
I didn't say that. I'm saying that you're making a big deal out of something that happens infinitesimally.
Yeah, I think that's what you're being really callous to actual women who are the ones that do get pushed by the wayside, that do get.
That's not feminism.
Yeah, that it's like now feminism is pushing women aside and saying, "Well, look,
all women.
let the trans women in. You cis women, you don't matter."
I am
like,
not saying that. I think that the best solution that I've heard so far is we should maybe do a trans league kind of.
yes, Special Olympics
I
for
pay
trans
so
people.
much money to watch that.
Yes,
shit.
Special Olympics.
No Special Olympics.
For
Special
trans
Olympics
people.
already exist.
Yeah, for trans people, I'm saying a new division of it.
Hold
Special
on one
Olympics
second.
are for the disabled. Trans people are not
that-
all disabled.
No, yeah,
Well, most of them are.
They don't have to be
No.
disabled.
Basil,
You just open
Basil
up a
says.
Have you ever seen a trans person on Twitter? that does
Basil
not have-
says. The PV debate was weak, Isa. Did you vote for Trump because of the charisma? And Max gifted 5 Sherba Mate Talks memberships. They went to Epic Game Man. Ben Thorpe, another gifted membership. Let's freaking go. Trebled, Linestamer 80, 52, 5 LA, Omnivore. Okay. Ale, welcome. Hello.
Hi, how are you, everyone?
I'm doing awesome.
So should I answer that question?
If you want, yes.
So
He's just yanking your chain. Just
no,
so
I
you
think
know,
it's
you
it's.
don't
It,
have to.
I mean, I think it's a very funny. It's always a funny kind of question to ask, because I don't necessarily give your standard answer. That thus means that I'm endorsing this kind of perspective. I think it's a problem with absolutist thinking, that because I don't necessarily agree with the position, then I must endorse the other. Yeah, it's a very tribalistic narrative, and I think it's an interesting thing to think about, because you don't take A, you must take B, instead of it being like, well, it's more nuanced and complex. But yeah, like when I was looking at the debate, I think Rachel did a better position, at least in the openings, where she's like, look, what do you mean by this? We have to define these terms. We can't just say it's all rainbows and butterflies. It's fine if you want to make that argument, but we're debating here, and I disagree with your position. So you got to tell me what you actually believe. And trans was actually one of the major battlegrounds, at least in the opening that I saw. So, I think it's an interesting thing to explore,
Okay, we have more for you, I think. For $5, Basil, was Isa's breakfast buffet at the Holiday Inn paid by the Crucible?
Yeah, isn't that
my
really
God.
funny?
Oh my God.
I'm like a great endorsee of the Crucible, right? That's so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, Andrew Wilson is just my bestie, right?
Yes, we have Isa infiltrating the enemy.
Yeah,
That's why.
I'm great friends with the Crucible.
Basil also says, do you think Jesus has forgiven Raquel for her indiscretions? Don't let Isa answer. I'm sure he has. Okay, hold on. Because Raquel has been pretty naughty, I hear. But Jesus had a very big heart. So I think we can compromise. If she does not pull a fast one from here until she dies, then that would be fine. Jesus forgives. One more indiscretion, and he's like, yeah, you haven't learned anything. But then, I don't know, there's potentially a way that could get you an infinite cycle of sinning and getting forgiveness. So I don't know. That is a very big conundrum to ask me what would Jesus do, because I have no fucking clue.
But you know what's funny? I don't think Basil knows what my name means. That's the kind of strange thing.
It means Jesus.
It does, but I don't think Basil knew that. So it's really funny. He's like, don't let Isa answer. I'm like, but I am Jesus. So why wouldn't I
Yeah.
answer?
The
So
Muslim
how,
story of Jesus is funny. It's very funny.
How
What's the Kabir part though? Is that I know Isa is.
Yeah, Kabir's my last name. Kabir means
Oh.
great. So you know what it literally means? My name means big Jesus. I'm not even joking. Or great Jesus. That's literally what my name means. In English.
Hey, that's a cool football jersey to get on the
Jesus
back.
Grande. My name in Spanish is Jesus Grande.
You
That's
should
like
get that on
literally
the back of a custom football jersey of your favorite team.
yeah. But
Jesus
Jesus Grande.
Grande, I kind of like that one.
That's
because-
literally my name. In
What is your
Spanish.
favorite
Oh,
team? Are you a Eagles fan?
Oh, of
Patriots?
course, I'm pro Philadelphia. So everything.
Okay.
Flyers,
Birds.
Eagles, Sixers, anything that's Philadelphia. Yeah, I'm Team Philadelphia.
Let's go.
Phillies.
I don't know. I don't think Amanda is. I think she needs to keep at it. Maybe it was the nerves or whatever. But
She and Craig are planning to discuss Rachel's book tomorrow. By the way, FTFE.
We need to discuss the book too.
Oh my God, yes, but I need to finish reading it. That's why
We need to have a Yerba Mate book club on Rachel's book.
Oh my God.
I took notes.
It's very derpy. But it requires some like digging through. My first impressions are that it's sort of the vibe that Matthew Hakim was doing for is just a little bit more skilled, right? It's a bunch of cherry picked quotations and yada yada yada. So
hey, I'm a Giants fan, so
And New York is full.
Kind. Okay, now that we're aware of what you're a fan of, would you mind not throwing out random facts while I'm in the middle of talking?
Me?
I apologize for that one.
Sunflower.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Being very disruptive.
Okay.
I brought up the bathroom issue just because it shows that women had to fight for basic things. But
never mind. It's okay. Lost that. I was going to ask Isa something.
Women were allowed to get on trains because they thought going over 50 miles an hour would cause the uterus to fall out of their body.
Oh.
Aristotle said women.
Well,
have
isn't that
fewer
actually?
teeth than men?
I thought that was true, but only if.
Women can go more than 50 miles an hour and not have the uterus fly out of their body.
Well, it depends if there's. No, I thought it was a speed bump thing, like a speed bump thing.
That does not happen.
Okay, then I was mistaken. Fair enough.
Do your
And that's
balls
why
explode if
women
you go over a speed bump?
had to fight for their rights for so long.
Okay, but think about this. Let me riddle you this one. A trans woman wouldn't even have the risk of a uterus falling out of her body to begin with, so therefore she's not even part of that marginalized class. So put that in your pipe and smoke it and square that circle.
It doesn't matter. Dumb. They're separate issues.
Dude, come on. Why do you got to answer for Rubik's, man? It was a back and forth.
Because you keep going back to the same thing that I already showed you how you're wrong
So
on.
people can't have a back and forth, and Max is a fascist state.
No, they
Okay,
can, but
understood.
if you keep going back to the same thing, I will keep calling you on it.
Okay, Chairman Max.
Hold on. Basil for $5 says, never thought I'd say, but Dr. J is more incredulous than Isa. Bring Dr. J
Yeah.
backwards. Even is he looking for a Dr. Pepper?
Dude, I love Dr.
Look,
J.
Dr. J is in the process of moving from one place to the next. Hasn't got settled back in, but he'll be back. He'll be back when he settles into his. I think he's doing another house sitting job.
Is he
You
doing
guys have
another
Dr.
overseas?
J on this podcast?
Is he working
Huh?
overseas? Won't have access to his phone because he's doing some work overseas for like a year.
No,
I
don't appreciate you like thinking that you have the street cred to joke around with that here. You don't.
Street cred. I'm just a
Yeah.
guy from New Jersey who gets money. Like I don't even know what you mean.
Yeah, no. What I'm basically telling to you is that that's the last time that you joke about that here. It's not. You're not welcome to do that. All right.
Understood.
I don't think it's funny. All right. The problem with Raquel is that she's very good at not going to the crux of the argument of the book. That is the whole occult thing. And Amanda tried to talk about that, but I think she started in the most ineffective way, which was accuse her of being anti-Semitic. Because she did say something kind of that's on the border, but it's still on the accepted side to say because they are followers of the Kabbalah or whatever, they do this. We know the undertones have to be taken from other places, so it was, I don't know, just a bad strategy, in my opinion. So, Rubik's, any thoughts else on the debate?
Rachel had the same argument she brought with Craig. From what
Yeah.
Once I saw, it's basically the same exact arguments, not deviating from her script.
That is one of their skills. Ale, any thoughts there? Can you? Because I saw you come and go.
Yeah, I was having some technical problems where the stream was sounding very robotic.
You are fine now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like holy bob and weave. Like she just won't touch the point even with a 2 foot long stick. She's very very skilled, so to speak, at bringing irrelevant things to the topic in order to distract from the topic. So, I mean, yeah, it's also she's also very irritating. I find her more irritating than her husband, to be honest, even though he's also pretty irritating as well. But holy fucking shit.
I have such a good joke for that. You know what it is? It's that Rachel sounds like Lois Griffin swallowed a tube of sandpaper. That's exactly how it sounds.
Oh my god, man. She does
Now
sound
that's
like
what
that.
I'm talking about. That's that good freaking stuff. That's that good joke.
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, that's how it sounds. Exactly.
I also caught a point on the
100%
debate where she proved herself wrong, but I cannot remember. I've been trying to remember it, and it jumped on me when she said that, but I'm not able to remember as of this moment. But if I remember, I'll tell you guys because she literally contradicted herself in the same statement.
That's
Are we
crazy.
surprised?
Amanda didn't do that once.
Rubik said, Shadow Mate Talks book club discussion. Let's go. It takes me a long time to finish a book these days, but Yeah, the this one I plan on finishing it, but it's very derpy. I get bored very easily.
I took notes on my PDF copy. Oh my god. If you look at her sources, the sources disagree with what she says. They say these the sources say.
Yeah, it's very flirty in the way that it's done. Like if you actually go and find the citations, it doesn't really.
Say what she says
But,
they say.
yeah, but it takes a little bit of work so to do that. So
Still impressive to write a book.
This book is terrible as well.
Is it really in today's world? I don't think
You have a point. Maybe she used ChatGPT. Maybe it's just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. There's no way to know, really. So that is hard. So if you start, okay, let's
When was the
say
book published?
we can't. Let's say we can't know. Okay, fine. But you start going through the citations, and they all start failing one after the other because they're like, it's cherry picking, it's quote mining, and this and that, right? Then does it even matter if it was ChatGPT or just good old fashioned
2021.
being dumb?
2021 it was published.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if ChatGPT was around when the book was written.
I think the
I don't
early
think
stages.
so.
Well, maybe not ChatGPT itself, but there was definitely like early stage LLM. It might not have been as borne out, but
My argument is that it doesn't matter if it was AI or just good old fashioned human grifting.
It's cherry picked.
What matters is the content, right? The content of what they're saying. So how many citations have
I have the book up right now.
and we go back to the same problem, Sunflower. How many until it's an actual problem?
it's
I
an
don't know.
impossible question.
I don't really care.
It's a good question.
Well, if you're going to a counterfactual history book and you call yourself a historian of feminism online, then I'm guessing that if you start getting a bunch of citations incorrectly on your book, and you have said that every expert in the field would disagree with you, then why should anyone care about what you say?
47
right, Raquel?
citations.
I used to agree with that, but then I started to realize that like so much stuff of as time goes by, like so much stuff just is like basically people are so hesitant to do anything, publish anything, that even if they're right, their ideas just sort of disappear with them. And then the fact that even if you're an idiot that only gets 10% right or even less than that, if you make a book out of it, you'll probably still have more permanence throughout history, unfortunately, for better or for worse. So it's kind of like, yeah, we can rag on her all we want, but until we actually publish our own book that has the record straight, she's probably going to be the one making more of an impact on how people view the topic moving forward.
Disagree.
You should write a book.
What do you mean disagree? Like, what would be how is that not true?
Yeah, because just because she has a book, how does that mean that she's more relevant automatically?
Well, I was saying if no one else is writing books and the only people write, it's sort of like, the history is written by the victors or whatever. You ever heard that phrase, Alejandro?
Yeah, sure, but doesn't mean anyone is actually reading it.
Well, we're all talking about it right now.
On Amazon, people actually did read it.
We can talk about it. Doesn't mean that I have read it.
You guys always talked about how you proved
I
it
read
wrong.
the book. It was so bad.
If you checked the citations she was putting in her own book, you've already done more of a deep dive on her book than like anyone. 99%.
Most of her citations are from the 1800s to mid 1900s.
All I'm saying is most people don't even ever think about citations in a book, period. You've already done that. We're
I
discussing
fucking
it.
love citations.
they're
Yeah,
not,
but again, just because you are analyzing her book doesn't mean she will have relevance to the topic. I mean,
Yes, it does. That's exactly what it
no,
means,
not
actually.
really.
That's exactly what it means, actually.
Not
I like
really, because
footnotes,
it's
too.
just like an example that is there, but doesn't mean that it will
It's more
influence the
relevant than
conversation in any meaningful way.
if we all proved Rachel's book was 100% fabricated tonight, and then we never write it down in a book ourselves, she wins. That's what I'm saying.
Who
Not
cares?
really, because the
cares?
book is not the only media that there is. If there was the only
Yeah,
media
but
that there was, sure, but it's not the only media.
Well, the point is, we're not creating. We're as critics of it. We're not helping unless we put our own.
We're creating our own media right now on this show.
Dude,
Yeah, exactly.
and, it doesn't.
No, you
It's
could put
not
it-
like it's such a big thing that you need. You need another book to outperform it.
Just an article.
To
Just
undo the message.
No,
It
just an
doesn't
internet
really
article.
matter.
Internet
Sometimes the
article.
book is so stupid you could just ignore it.
Right. Yeah,
Until
and that's
it's-
what's
until it's a
happening with
New York
this.
Times
That's why it
bestseller.
doesn't.
Until it's a
It
New
only
York Times
appeals to
bestseller.
their audience, and you know that this kind of leaning it happens mostly in the U.S.
Well, how many has it sold? It probably sold a lot. Honestly, I would not be like. You guys are underestimating
Max
it.
makes a great point. Flat Earther Matthew Hakim, our friend, running away from me for a long time, is relevant to the moon landing because he wrote a bad pamphlet about it.
No, because that's not
what
the
you're
authority
saying.
on it.
But Rachel is not an authority on gender studies.
The
either.
narrative is shifting. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
It's not.
It's not.
yeah, it is. It is.
No.
It seems like it is, but it isn't.
The narrative is shifting against feminism for sure, culturally.
On
yes,
the on the
No, it's
echo
not.
on
Yes,
the
yes, it is.
ecosphere of the
no,
Wilson,
this is
the
denial.
Yeah,
Wilson verse.
But if you're talking real life to people, actually, most of them agree with feminism. That's just a
No,
fact.
no,
It's
no.
not
I like
shifting.
being able to vote.
Trump won. Are you aware Trump was elected
Trump
president?
is a feminist.
Yeah, do you know why
Yeah.
people voted for Trump? Mainly, it wasn't because of feminism.
Yeah. No,
Exactly.
it's not.
Right.
Oh.
Yes, he's a rapist.
messed up
So
then.
clearly feminism isn't in the hearts of
Yeah,
voters.
feminism wasn't the reason. It doesn't mean that they voted for
Exactly.
Trump because they're
Narrative
shifting
is
their views
shifting,
on
Alejandro.
feminism.
The narrative is
Is Trump
shifting.
not a feminist?
No,
No.
it's not, my guy.
Yes,
No.
it
There are
is.
so many other things that
You're
they
in
voted for
denial.
Trump.
If
No,
you keep saying
sunflower.
okay, then
Sunflower.
JD Vance is gonna win again. There you
You think because you're in the microcosm of your neighborhood in New
Microcosm
Jersey.
of America, where Trump won a Democratic election twice. That's a macrocosm, not a microcosm.
No, it's a
Let him finish,
microcosm
Sunflower.
compared to the rest of the world. It's
Compared
not
to
even
Uruguay?
close.
Uruguay's the most micro of all cosms, dude. Come on.
Yeah, it is, but
Well, America sets the tone for the rest of the world. First of all,
No,
yes,
you
it
don't.
absolutely does.
No.
Second
No.
of all, are you basically saying, okay, even if JD Vance wins, you're still gonna just be there like, nope, we're right. Feminism is picking up more pay. Like, you're just again, this is why Democrats lose, because they're in denial, and they don't have their finger on the pulse of the narrative.
You know,
shifting.
I'm not a Democrat.
What was the main
I'm
reason
talking about
people voted for Trump?
in America, like what you're saying is very reminiscent of the Democrats. Like, no, like narrative's not shifting. We're winning. It's like, no, Democrats. The narrative is so miserable. It's failing. This
What
is why
does this have
Trump
to do
won.
with feminism?
I just explained it. Is because the fact that Trump was elected twice is proof that the narrative is shifting away from.
What's the main reason people voted for Trump?
There's a cultural shift away from at least nominal feminism in America for sure, in the West.
What was the main reason
No,
people
no,
voted for
no.
Trump?
You can't say in the West because in South America it's quite the contrary.
South America's not the West. Let's be honest.
Yes, it is.
It's technically, but we're talking about like Western
No,
civilization.
not technically. It is.
No, we're talking
No,
about
and Europe has it's
Yeah.
nowhere near, not like the US at all.
Can I,
Right? So,
can I just,
Well,
some
I don't know.
Sunflower, I
right?
think you're making. I think there is pushback in certain areas. So, for example, if you said that there was a pushback on, if you said there was a pushback on DEI,
Yeah,
and
Western
that's happening-
civilization, not the Western Hemisphere. Terminator, you idiot! That was such an
But-
easy thing to get to understand.
Sunflower, it depends what sort of like stage of feminism you're talking about. And also, like, for example, if you think that Trump and JD Vance, if asked the direct question, hey guys, do you think women should have the right to vote? That A, they actually believe that women shouldn't have the right to vote, and B, they'd fucking say it even if they did. I don't think that's actually the case. And that's kind of where like the Wilson crew are coming from. So I don't think you can put them in the same box to begin with. Now,
Wait
I think
a second. What's
would
your
have
point? Can you repeat that again? I didn't hear what you quite said there.
So my point is that if the argument is that there's a pushback against feminism, then it depends. I think if you were to say, for example, that there's a pushback on DEI and feminists are pro DEI, then I think you could make the argument probably reasonably that there is a pushback against DEI because that's happening in the UK, that's happening in Europe, that's happening in the United States as well. But I don't think you can make the argument that there is a pushback in feminism in that we're going to roll back to like the 1900s.
Well, I'll tell you why we can. Less and less people are identifying as feminists. This is statistically borne out in data.
Yeah, but that's not because they don't agree with the principles. It's because they
okay, I will.
Pull it up.
I will. Give me a second.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think you could probably again potentially justify that a fewer people are identifying as feminists because they don't want to be put in the box where, for example, they're saying that men and women are basically the same thing, and that it's like when you see those shorts that pop up where it's a woman goes, "Hey, I can do everything that men can do," and then it shows you all of the like the coal miners and the oil riggers and the stuff like that, and then at the end of the short, she's got this sort of like sad face on because she knows she couldn't do the job. It's like that's the kind of stuff that you're talking about. There are, even for me, there are some claims that are made that are just ridiculous. Like if my wife came to me and said that she could do my job, like no, but I couldn't do her job either. So
I have the perfect analogy for this. It's like the pushback of that people are don't identify with atheism. Less people are identifying as atheist, but that's because they don't want to be real, like
the new TM, like really
of the Reddit atheist, but they are atheist nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest that's probably the same the same case. Like, like a working mum who's fought for decent decent laws around like maternity leave and stuff like that, so that she can be a professional and also be a mum at the same time, is probably not going to put herself in the same box as the quote unquote like purple haired shrieking feminist, for example.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just proving that what I said was true. Some people said I was wrong, and I'm just saying that.
Right, but this is American women.
This is a label thing too. Again, we're back to definitions again.
Yeah.
And it also brings up the definition of feminism wasn't defined when asking the question as in the poll.
That's what.
And also, I'd be prepared to bet that their attitudes haven't changed at all if you ask them a list of concise questions like, do you think women should have the right to vote? Do you think women should have the right to enter the workforce? Do you think women should have... Like, that wouldn't have changed at all. The answers to those questions would all remain consistent. And then if you ask them, yeah, but are you a feminist? They go, no, I'm not a feminist because I don't want to be likened to that fucking nutter over there.
Right.
That's exactly what they'd say.
And that goes back to the idea that does feminism even have a modern mission anymore? Or is it just... is it just sort of riding on the coattails of a...
Well, I mean, some things were achieved. So now the mission is to prevent from those things from being taken back. That's usually what happens when a right is conquered and something and stuff like that.
Yeah, if they're functioning as a doorstop and not trying to continue to shove the door, like door handle into the plasterwork of the wall, then... Yeah, I mean, feminism has a justification to still exist for that regard. Absolutely, of course.
They're not doing a good job. The Roe v. Wade got repealed. That door is coming straight off the hinges right now.
There you have it.
Yeah, but that's, again, that's only in America.
Yeah, the most important country in the world, dude.
America's...
Come on.
Not the most important country. Sorry.
What's more important? What country is more important than America?
No country is more important than any other.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Well,
Okay, right.
I
So
mean, right now one could make an argument for
yeah,
China.
so
I mean,
Fair.
what an insane point. Like, yeah, Myanmar.
and Burkina Faso are somehow
Because
right.
because I mean,
What are
you
you
you know they
You
make
have to just admit,
all of
Rubik,
the,
that was the stupidest point ever. Like,
they
please.
make all of the stuff.
can't stop that.
Obviously,
It does.
some countries have more impact and significance on the world stage than others. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, of course they do. But it
Again,
depends.
define importance.
Yeah, well, like, what do we? What?
The ability to literally nuke others is probably the best like rule of thumb.
So you mean power,
Oh.
not like.
So
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it when they go.
significance.
So hold on,
Yes,
you're telling me that you're the best because you could
I didn't
just
say best. Most
decide
important.
to
Most
kill
important.
everyone.
Most important.
It means more powerful, the most powerful.
Most important. I said
Okay.
Powerful.
don't even put words in my mouth. Just say what I said. I said most.
No,
important.
no. I mean,
When-
I get
when
Yes,
you-
it's
it.
most important, but you mean the most powerful then.
Yeah.
It means a lot of things. It
Like,
means
it depends on what your
most important.
definition of importance in regards to human rights. No country is more important with human rights. But
No, he
Okay.
doesn't care about human rights. He's like, yeah,
That's not
we'll
true. I
bomb
care about
the
human
shit
rights.
out of you.
No,
Yeah.
most important. It's that simple. Most important.
Right, because
I mean,
we'll
there's-
bomb
there's-
the shit out of you, right?
Well,
But you
there's-
care about rights.
what?
There's no doubt. There's no doubt that the
That's
United
What kind of
States.
argument
is
is this? Like, what world do you live in where like
That's what you said. That's what you said.
No.
You said in one way. One of your arguments is that America number one because you can bomb the shit out
No,
of
not
it,
number one,
whatever the
more
hell you want,
important.
right?
for the
More
same reason
important.
that you have
Whatever.
to
That's it. Whatever there be thing you said.
okay,
And then you said that you care about rights. So how can you encompass the fact that you care about rights, but your argument for US being the most important or whatever the hell is the fact that you can just bomb everyone?
exactly because of that, because I don't want people to get bombed, I have to pay most attention to the ones that can do the most destruction. There you go. That's the answer right there.
I don't give a fuck if we bomb people. Who
Like,
cares?
you have to pay the most attention to the countries that have the most capacity to do the most damage, which makes them the most important on the world stage.
Like,
Well,
if we
the
bomb
problem is that-
Guinea-Bissau,
It's that simple.
what
The problem
happens?
is that you're supposed to be one of the good countries, one of the countries
I'm not even saying we're good.
well, 1 second. One of the countries that we allow them to have all of these things because they are held to a high moral standard, like not going around bombing
Well-
the shit out of everyone.
Well, hang on
I
a minute.
don't
Also,
support
I
Israel.
don't think that even tracks by your own rationale. So, like, but I don't think you would agree. So, for example, like Taiwan has a small but competent military. It is a relatively small country by all of the metrics that you've just laid out, except for the fact that if the US went in there and nuked it tomorrow, we would be fucked with, like, I don't know, microchips and stuff.
Thank
They
you.
seem pretty important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, important. Right. Or like
But
Iran.
that's on the axis of microchips, not on the
Yeah.
axis of the size of their military or their record in human rights or anything else. It's we need to define on what axis we're saying important, surely.
Exactly.
Sure, aren't we?
Yeah. And I'm
But
combining all metrics and saying when you combine all metrics, America is the most important country.
Can
But
we,
the
we
people,
can agree that some
people's
countries are
lives-
important in different ways, and other countries are not important in any way at all.
So
Sure.
when
1 second. MDD Basel for $5 says MDD censored my questions related to Maine first project. I just wanted to under the threat from Maine. Wait, I think you misspelled something there. Hit me back again with that. And then Aldebaran said, Sunflower, if you kick someone's ass, you're more important. How are you not a flirt?
yeah, I'm sorry. What should we pay more attention to? Russia and the stuff they do militaristically, or Myanmar?
Yeah,
but
Can
you,
you
you're,
ma-
you're,
ma-
What's
you're-
more important? What's
And-
more important to pay attention to for the welfare of everyone on Earth?
I don't know what the Myanmarians are doing, but Russia is on a war right now.
Right.
So
We better pay attention to Russia because they have the capacity to do a lot more harm.
And
damage.
again, this is because we didn't
Yeah.
define what importance was and what importance in regards to. Human rights.
I never said the lives of people in America are more important. That's horrible. I would never say that.
That's how I took the question.
Well, then that's your fault, because obviously when we're talking about a country being important, we mean their impact globally.
A country and its people, the people in the country.
No,
but when it comes to this, when
the
it comes to
projects of the country and their reach and their impact.
When it comes to the conservative,
what do you have in World War II?
When it comes to the conservative and progressive talk on this particular debate, the U.S. is an outlier, because the rest of what you call the West is not like the U.S. Now, it's quite the opposite, actually.
Well, it very much depends on. So just from a historical point of view, where I will probably give ground on Sunflower on this one is, for example, like post-Second World War, the United States was one of the only Western industrialized nations that hadn't been completely decimated. If the United States at that point in time had decided that it wanted to steamroller the rest of the globe, they absolutely could have done. And what they decided to do instead was actually to enlarge their navy even more and essentially protect trade routes all over the world. And they did become a cultural exporter.
John, you're the smartest guy here. I've always liked you, John.
There's no doubt about that. That's just historical fact. But that does not mean that every cultural brain fart that the United States has is correct.
Which I never said.
It also means that just because, even if there was what's the population of the United States? It's what, 350 million,
give or take.
Yeah, something like that. The population of the United Kingdom is 70 odd million people. Europe as a whole is somewhere in the region of 500 million people. China is, depending on who you believe, is 1.4 to 1.6 billion people.
No, it's way less, dude.
I know it seems to have been massively overreported, but it's over 1 billion. It's still a huge number, regardless.
But we would all know that China, like the trends in China's economy and their government, we would all say like this is more important than whatever's going on in the government of Mongolia.
Dude, China's not important at all.
No, compared to like whatever's going on in like the government of Mongolia, it's so irrelevant on the world
stage. I can't even read that language, dude, and nobody can. Like, who can?
Oh my god.
Yeah, but there are more people living in China than there are in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Europe combined. So from their perspective, our languages, every single one of them, is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, and yet they respect us though, because they know that
they live in these little like skyscrapers that are falling apart, and they work their shitty factory jobs and don't do anything with their lives. So how is that important?
Dude, you're making this a massive mistake. Don't underestimate your enemy. If you think China is some kind of cultural enemy to you, don't underestimate them.
He's right.
You can't even type Chinese on a keyboard.
John is right.
They need to use our
mate, like 25 years, 25 years ago, they were all driving around in tuk-tuks. They now make the most advanced EV vehicles on the planet.
John is right. John is right. John is right.
Yeah, and the whole little racist rant as an argument doesn't really fly here, so control yourself.
I like Chinese people when they're in the US. When they're in China, they suck.
Why? That is very discriminatory.
No, I like Chinese people, but they just have to come to our country.
Like what?
Why?
That's how most countries view foreigners.
Magic soil. Dude.
China is currently they are currently building the entire infrastructure, the equivalent of the entire electrical grid infrastructure of the United Kingdom in 3 years. They're building the entire roadwork of the United Kingdom in less than 2 years.
You want to know why? Because they are not soy-based, cucks. Like
they don't have feminism, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like they just put their foot down and are like, "We're gonna get shit done."
They do, but they do.
They also every time
and that's why there's.
Firstly, they've got a huge amount of open space. So every time they want to build a railway, they don't have to have an argument with every single tenant and homeowner. And even if they did, they wouldn't give a shit. They just steamroller it anyway.
Ironically, they are soy-based.
Workers' rights.
And their argument sounds something like this.
You got me there. They are soy-based, but they don't give in to, they actually make fun of like the liberal woke stuff. They're like, oh, look at these losers stepping on their own feet. They can't get anything done.
Yeah, but their society is not there isn't the same problems with feminism as
Yeah, they just reject it. They're like, "That's stupid. We're gonna just excel and make everything good for everyone." And the West is like, "Oh no, feminism!" And then the China just laughs at everyone. Like,
Wait,
haha.
wait, wait. Are you saying that you would rather live in China than in the US then? Than current US?
Let me put it this way: I have patriotism in my blood, so no. But if I would
So
say there's one.
literally, you want to live in the US because of an irrational feeling of yours.
Of course, that's how. Why do you like your family more than your random people across the world?
Because
that
I because I
that
have more
irrational?
time invested in my family and literal biological
Same with my
stuff.
country. Same with my country.
Oh my
No,
God.
but again, the time spent is a rational
Got proven
thing.
wrong.
Yes.
You just got proven wrong. But anyway,
No,
like,
not really.
No, but the problem is that you're completely ignoring the fact that there's a whole cultural difference in the treatment of women from Asia to the US. So you're not even they might not
and
have
they're doing
the
better than us economically.
they might not have feminism in the way that we had to have feminism. It was because they didn't need to, because women are not
They
relegated
left
in
baby
that
girls in
those ways.
dumpsters. They're the most anti-women culture. You know what they did with the one-child policy? With the one-child policy, they were so sexist that they literally, if they had a baby girl infant, they would just leave it on the road and to die. This is the most,
I actually had a question I wanted to ask.
the most
Being
sexist
erased from
culture
this.
on earth and the most economically prolific culture on earth simultaneously. Like one of the most sexist and the most economically successful.
But they don't have that policy anymore.
So
Okay.
I wanted
They're
to
very
ask.
sexist. Like they.
Well,
Yeah,
the policy wasn't down sex either. It didn't specify you're only allowed one child and it has to be a boy. That was
Right. That's
like,
just
one
the culture.
one was
that was just a
legislative and one was
cultural
culture, yeah.
preference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Hold on, Isa wants to ask you a question.
Well, I wanted to ask a question, not to a specific person, from the debate, because we're kind of because I think we're kind of converging on these points. But I wanted to ask a question from the debate.
Yeah, that's having sunflower on. We get sidetracked.
Silly. So the thing that they brought up during the debate, it's something I hear a lot from conservative talking points, and it's not something that I really understand, but it's something about birth rates, this idea that birth rate is so important. And I'm like, aren't we like overpopulating? It's like, and we have like massive grave sites, and I don't know, like that's not something that's being engaged with as the environmental component of that. But it's like this idea that we need to keep making more and more and more children. And it's weird hearing it from a Christian position too. I don't, as a person who's read the entire New Testament, I don't come from Christianity. I don't have Christian family. So I'm not culturally connected to Christianity, but having read the text, and this is where Rachel's position, I don't quite understand, and I bring this up a lot on the show, I don't quite understand this position of family values from Christianity, birth rates. I'm like, this sounds just like you just are making this up based on your own cultural norms, and then you're trying to project it onto Christianity. So I don't think Christianity promotes these things. It doesn't promote birth rates or culture or any of this stuff. The New Testament does not. I wouldn't say. And I'm including Pauline texts and all of it, it's mostly about a bunch of monks spiritual celibates who are kind of, going around the area. That's what I've read. It does talk about marriage, but it's kind of for a lower level people. That's the way I read the text.
Were all the apostles celibate?
Yes, all of them. All of them are.
Well, hang on.
And Simon Peter abandons his wife, so that's the only one that actually had a wife. None of them had.
The only one who got any.
None of them had children. So I mean, that's a very powerful testament in and of itself.
So can I just clarify? So like, I mean, obviously that you're looking at this from a theologian's perspective. I
think that's an important thing. If you're a Christian person arguing from Christianity, Christianity is a key component in this conversation. It's not just hidden. It's the main player, you know.
So the what you say is the I suppose the way I would think about it in terms of, like, my understanding is that Christians tend to have the view of to be fruitful and to multiply.
That's Jewish. That's not Christian. That's a Jewish position. That's not the Christian position. So those are two different things, because the New Testament and the New Covenant is not connected to the Old Covenant. So it's weird that people are like, well, I'm going to take these things from the Old Covenant. That's a covenant for Israelites. That's not a covenant for Christians.
How can they not be related when the
Well, then you would have to follow the
were proclaimed in the first one
you
as
would have to
supposed to be
follow
fulfilled in
Shabbat. You would have to follow Shachrit laws. You would have to follow Kashrut laws. Christians don't follow any of these laws. You would have to,
Right.
if you're going to take that position, you've got to go all the way with it. You know what I mean?
I don't know
Yeah,
about
Right.
that.
613 mitzvot. You've got to follow all the 613 commandments.
I don't think
You got to
that's
get
true.
circumcised. You
I
got to do
think you
all
can
of it.
make the
Well, no.
difference between the kinds of commands that are given in the Old Testament and which ones are like strictly part of the Old Covenant and which ones are like general. Like I think people would accept that the Ten Commandments are like general and not specific to the Old Covenant.
The Ten Commandments command about Shavuot and Sukkot. I don't know if you know what those things are, but there's two sets of Ten Commandments, and actually atheists are really brilliant because they found this out. And when I was looking into this, I was like, whoa, this is super cool, because you see the first 10 commandments got thrown down. Then the second 10 commandments are brought up, and it's all very Jewish laws. You can't boil the goat in its mother's milk. That's a law. It's the law of they call it milkus and fleshik, where you can't mix meat and milk together. That's the derivative that you see in rabbinic law. So all of this stuff, it's very Jewish, like the festival of tabernacles. I mean, the festival where you have to, the Sukkot where you have to build the house, the temporary house. All of this stuff is in the Ten Commandments. Christians don't know any of this stuff, because it's a very all of it's Jewish. It's extremely Jewish text. The New Testament and the Hebrew Scriptures are all Jewish.
So when
if you read the New Testament about a bunch of Jewish people,
Jesus said, "I did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it." Right?
You're right. That's true.
Okay, and then did he also say that about whatever you eat, it's not unclean? That's why Christians can eat pork, right?
Well, it's from a dream. That's like that.
Yeah.
Those are in dreams.
But so this kind of interplay is sort of where Christians derive, I guess, their somewhat adherence to the Old Testament, but not strict, because Jesus has a new covenant. It's not abolishing. Again, he comes to fulfill the law, but in a new way. So there's overlap. I think it's sort of that simple, in my opinion.
But I think it's a lot of cherry picking. I think it's cherry picking the stuff that you like,
cherry picking
and cherry picking what you don't like.
The central figure, yeah.
Because I mean, I would say that
I don't think
I don't think Jesus did abolish Shabbat. I think he may have challenged the position of how Shabbat was viewed by fellow rabbinic Jews of that era, but that doesn't mean he would say that Shabbat is invalid. So this is an interesting question. How does one even practice Shabbat? Like, you can debate that, I mean, the New Testament's a great text of looking. Yeah,
we're looking at Jesus as a modified version, as in there's a new covenant, but it's not an abolishment of the old covenant. It's just a modification, I guess.
But the thing is, how do we even know what that modification is?
Well, yeah, that's a fair point, but I'm not. So that's a very fair point, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm just disagreeing with the idea that it's completely isolated from the Old Testament, as if it's like unrelated. Where that's what I'm disagreeing with. I'm not.
Oh, and I hear that argument. I think, but the interesting point here is I'm looking at Rachel's position, so I'm trying to understand her position on this. This thing about birth rates and all this stuff, this is not really a part of what the New Testament's goal is. It doesn't really care about families. It doesn't really care about, propagating your generations. The Hebrew Scriptures have that consideration, but the New Testament does not, because the New Testament's very apocalyptic. It's a position that the world is coming to an end. This is what scholars will agree upon. It's not this idea that, we need to make societies and have kingdoms and, have tunics with embellished crosses on it. That's not what this text is showcasing. And no scholar, and I think all the scholars would agree with me, like, biblical New Testament scholars would agree with me. It's an apocalyptic text, particularly when we look at the book of Revelation. This is an extremely apocalyptic text. So it's very bizarre when I hear Christians talk about family values and all of this stuff. And I'm like, the family values, even of the Hebrew Scriptures, is nothing like the family values of modern societies today. So it's just, I don't know how you can tie and bind these things together. It's not logically sound. That's what I'm trying to say. But I hear your point, Sunflower. You're right. I think that they are interconnected. But I think people like Rachel Wilson, her position on Christianity does not necessarily align with what the story is of either of these corpus of texts, either the Hebrew scriptures or the New Testament.
Okay, wait, but here's the so Mark 7:14-23, Jesus says nothing outside a person can defile them by going into them. What comes out of a person is what defiles them.
Yeah,
Do you know that?
I mean, I would say these are like mystical spiritual texts. That's fine. It's a mystical, we're dealing with ancient Jewish mystic. So yes, I don't see any problem with this type of situation. But the thing that I don't think that necessarily is engaging the argument that I'm saying. Yeah, he's saying some ancient mystical teaching, but the point that what I'm trying to say
That's
is,
what makes
I'm
people
trying to say
Christians,
we
that they
have to
follow
look at,
him.
huh?
But yeah, but that's what Christians are. They follow him.
But how do you follow him? How do you
I
follow an
mean,
ancient Jewish
You
mystic?
could ask how you follow, but wait a second. Don't people ask how you follow the Torah too? And there's tons of back and forth on that.
You're correct. It is
Then
debatable.
why is
What
that ingrained in stone as if it's like it's very clear cut how to follow the Torah, but it's no longer clear how to follow Jesus? I would say there's probably even more.
I don't think Rachel's position aligns with this, and I think a lot of these conservative. That's my
But
question.
isn't there even more debate on the
I
Jewish?
don't think conservative Christians are aligned with anything of this position.
But all I'm saying is there's probably more back and forth and debate on how to adhere to the Torah than there even is to Jesus. I mean, look at all the Reformed Jews and look at all. I mean, there's been more back and forth and discussion and debate and different positions on what you technically have to do. It's not like there's
You're
just
missing the point.
right. So I'm just saying that if that's your critique here of like, well, yeah, Jesus said this, but how do you follow it? Well, that's already been the paradigm for Judaism before Jesus.
So I hear what you're saying. The thing is, all of there's a lot of baggage with this stuff, though. So the thing is, if you're saying I want this kind of values of the ancient Hebrews and the ancient Israelites, I would say modern Jews are not following what the ancient Israelites did either. I would grant that already from the get-go. Wearing black coats and black hats from the 1600s of Europe is not ancient Israelite culture. This is obvious, right? You know what I mean? And the idea of like what you do on Shabbat, like how you light electricity and stuff. Yes, of course, this is a rabbinic innovation. There's no doubt about that.
1 second here. Albino Bad Guy for $2. Hey, Mark, can I join? Yes, you can always join. If the link is there, you can always click it, and there's some spaces left.
So
come along.
I think I get where you come from, Issa, and that as the Wilsons love to do when they're talking about morality, they want to know where secular humanists quote unquote ground their morality. So if the conservative side of the debate is arguing for their sort of traditional Christian values, where are they grounding these traditional Christian values? And the be fruitful and multiply doesn't come from a Christian text, it comes from a Jewish text. Therefore, we're now arguing on the technicalities of whether there's some kind of intersection between the Christian and the Jewish texts and how that relates to culture. And obviously you've pointed out, like, the top hats and the black coat isn't part of rabbinic Judaic
ancient Judaism.
Exactly. Yeah, clearly the case. So there's obviously some cultural drift, and what we call so, for example, for me, tradition, like at Christmas, would be to have the Christmas tree, and we'd go to the Christingle service, and it I would see that there is again, I shouldn't say it as much if I hate saying it, but a quote unquote erosion of our culture. If I go into Tesco's and I go to buy, Tesco's is a big supermarket in the UK. It's like a Walmart. If you go into Tesco's and they're not selling Christmas trees in the car park, they're selling winter trees. Like, no, it's just a fucking Christmas tree. All right, that's traditional here. But if you search through the Bible, though I may, I can't find reference to a fucking Christmas tree. So it's
that's exactly my argument, John. I think a lot of this stuff is imported from their other cultures. I don't think that this is Christian culture. I think it's projected onto Jesus. It's projected onto the New Testament. That's the argument I'm making. All of this other stuff is other things that they're trying to smuggle into Christianity. This thing about birth rates, and family values. I think those are their values. Those are their conservative values, and that's great. But
Yeah.
don't call them Christian values. Call them your conservative values. That's
Sure, but
traditional values or something, yeah.
even if you consider the argument at face value, like why do they care so much about birth rates when we're not taking care of that implies that they care about people. But when we have, homeless people and so on, and we are not taking care of them, they don't give a fuck about that. Why? It's because they don't care about people. It's not about the people, the birth rates. It's about subjugating women.
Well, it depends. It depends on how you get it. So I would. So obviously, as you know, I'm a conservative, and I would class myself sort of like a traditionalist. And I'm not a religious person. I don't reach for the infinitesimal specificities of the foundational religious texts of the Western culture. And I would consider that to be, Judaism and Christianity. But we are having the argument at the moment of why are we spending, £8 million a day housing people who have come across the channel in the boats from France when we have homeless people on the streets who, if they said, hey, can I get a hotel room for tonight, please? The answer would be fucking no, go to that soup kitchen around the corner. So I don't know how that intersects with feminism, though. Like, I mean, why does caring about homeless people?
No, but okay. What I'm trying to lay out.
Real quick, just not to interrupt, but I'm sorry. I just want to say hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thanks for the invite.
Hello, John. It's not about the caring of the homeless people itself. It's about the interaction between why is it that they care about birth rate when in another situation of comparable characteristics, which is do you actually care about people? Well, clearly not, because they don't give a fuck about the homeless.
Right. No, sorry. I misunderstood the angle that you were coming from there. Apologies. No, I do understand now. Well, because if they're trying to preserve like their culture or their Christian values, for example, then whether there is a small number of sort of Christian homeless people on the street is going to have far less of a cultural impact than if you imported vast numbers of people from a very, very different culture that wasn't Christian. So I don't think they're irrational making that distinction.
That's the other point that I was going to make next, is that they also don't care about the birth rate of everyone. They care about a very specific set of birth rates.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is that I don't get is if the bit that I don't get from the US at any rate is that my understanding is that Mexico is a Catholic country, isn't it? They're very
much.
It depends what you mean. It's like predominant. The population is predominantly Catholic, but when you talk about government and education, it's pretty secular. So of course, Catholicism will have an influence because, well, the majority of population is Catholic. But making laws and teaching in public schools is pretty a secular country.
Yeah, so it sounds actually not that much different from the UK, and that the majority of people in the UK would class themselves as Christian, but fundamentally we're a secular nation.
Yeah. Also, even though we're more conservative in general here than the US, there's basically no religious discrimination here.
Yeah. But I guess my point is why would a person who is like wanting to preserve their traditional culture along the axis of Christianity, wouldn't they be wanting to import Mexicans on that basis?
Idea.
That's one of the problems.
They want white Christians.
It's white Christians. Latino Christians, it's not good enough. So that's the other weird thing with this whole birth rate argument.
Brown Christians, no bueno.
No bueno, no.
I'm here in the U.S. and I'm not happy about the policies and stuff like that. But I can tell you that the policies are leaning towards white Christian nationality, and they want to turn everyone Christian. They want to ban books. They are trying to make everybody be low in information. Um, I mean, there's so many stats that I've just seen that are just appalling.
Yeah, the downside of this whole situation, well, the upside actually of this whole situation is that when these things happen, usually people learn, or I like to think that people learn, and then they don't vote for the same thing again.
Yeah, well,
Well,
that's the whole thing. They don't want us to learn. They're stopping us from learning by banning books in schools, by banning history in schools, by banning um, certain things to be talked about in schools, so the next generation cannot learn and
yeah.
cannot better themselves.
The good
And
news is that
it's horrible.
the good news is that with this such a low approval rating of Trump, I hope they won't commit the same mistake again.
Yeah.
The one thing that gives me hope is that I see a lot of Generation Z kids that are doing things like they are doing podcasts and going on the news and debating people, and they are coming up quick, like 23-year-olds. There's a 26-year-old girl running for Senate in Illinois that I'm a huge supporter of. She's fully grassroots supported by her members. She goes on YouTube. I watched a live stream of her where she did a hot wings type of, kind of live stream where she was eating all these hot sauces, and she progressively got hotter and hotter and hotter. And her goal was to raise $4,000, and she raised, I think, about $7,000 in the end.
Nice.
It was awesome, and I can't tell you I've ever had so much fun just watching a live stream of an actual senatorial candidate. She was amazing. I mean,
Not
that's
cool.
that's thinking outside the box. That's what we need.
Yeah, that is usually helps. Now, do you have any thoughts on the debate itself?
On the I'm sorry, Max, your accent got me a little on the
On
what
the
itself,
on the debate, yes.
on the debate. Oh, what was our debate? Is feminism more good or bad for society? Oh, okay. No, feminism is definitely good for society,
All right.
without a doubt.
Oh
How could
wait.
how could
I
how
think
could
Max is
how
referring
could
to a
that even
specific
be? How
debate.
could that even be bad? Is that what you were asking about? Is that because I was just looking at
Well,
the
yeah,
top of it?
the debate on
Is that the topic?
MD. Yeah, because it's the after show for that debate.
Um,
Don't worry.
I,
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, I did not actually watch the debate. I saw you pop up because I have you like tagged for, like, if you come up, I get alerts and to
That's
watch you.
cool.
So
Thank you.
I don't know who else you were watching the debate was about.
Yeah, the when it says after shows where we usually watch a debate previously, and I didn't
Yeah,
even include the link. That was my bad. I'm putting it on the description now.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I
yeah,
wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't have gotten it anyway because after the show was over, you popped up. So I don't.
right.
Who was it that you were watching for the debate?
MDD. Looks like we lost. Damn, we lost
I was like, where's
No,
Sunflower?
I think we lost.
Sunflower.
I was
And
gonna ask where
Rubik's
Sunflower was.
and Rubik's, I think. Was it Rubik's or
And
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rubik's.
and the other guy who seemed to be with
Bill.
Sunflower. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just rolling. All right, let's do final thoughts and we'll be on our way because it's late. I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Oh man, I always catch you at the end, don't I?
Yeah, the after shows. That's.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go long, but I'm just so tired today. Let's start with you, John. Final thoughts and will
Yeah, you're gonna have to
go.
forgive me. I was again drifting in and out of this debate. I
No
don't know
problem.
why. I don't know why. I'm not drinking at the moment. I've just knocked it on the head until after Christmas, and it means I'm now actually sleeping better. It was an unanticipated
Yeah,
consequence. So,
it does happen. Yes.
but so I did catch some bits of it. I was a bit disappointed. It didn't seem that they like this really needed more fleshing out around the definitions. I don't necessarily agree in making arguments from the perspective like making definitional arguments, but it would at least have been nice to have known what the like this sort of like segue into like the trans discussion around whether like the inclusion of trans identifying people in the group of women eroded, like whether that helped or hindered feminism, or whether like we could have just defined that out from the start. You know, it seemed an unnecessary suck up of a huge chunk of time, and like you needed to be focusing on more on the principles of like, it's not just like is feminism. You need to, and I actually think Rachel Wilson did a better job here. Like at least she was sort of like, well, look, since feminism achieved this goal, then this happened, and then they achieved this goal, then this happened. Like you can completely disagree with her, but she at least had a better structured argument than everybody else. My conclusion is, I think feminism is a good thing for society because it incorporates as many people into the society as possible. The trans bit seemed to be a bit of an unnecessary distraction.
Yeah, but I
About this
mean,
earlier.
it's simpletons like Sunflower and Rachel get caught up on that.
But the thing is, I don't actually disagree with there needing to be a discussion about it, because if you're from your perspective, like if you're as Sunflower said, if you're a TERF, if you're a trans exclusionary feminist from like the UK, for example, then allowing trans women into female bathrooms, as the Supreme Court has recently adjudicated, is absolutely pushing, like that's absolutely an erosion of their feminist ideals. Whereas if you are on the pro-trans side of the argument and you see no distinction between trans women and biological women, then you're excluding a group of women from a women's space, and that's actually where feminism needs to push forward. They need to attack against that prescription from the state or from culture. So it is something that needed to be discussed, but because there was no real definition of like, okay, like what does and doesn't feminism include, we just sort of eddied around it for ages.
Yes.
All right, Ale.
Yeah, so I think basically Rachel was the queen of bringing irrelevant topics to the table in order to consume time and basically not let the other party argue in favor of their position or critique Rachel's position. Like regarding the trans bit, I actually joined because I was hearing you guys arguing about the trans bit, and I wanted to put a little bit of my 2 cents there, because I agree with you, Max. I think that I don't see it as relevant, because it's one question is whether feminism is good for society, and then the trans bit is about whether considering trans women part of feminism or not is better for feminism. Like they're just two very different questions.
Right.
Because feminism, we can agree that feminism, regardless if it includes trans women or not, is better or not for society, and then we can say, well, is it better if we consider them in feminism or not? But regardless, feminism is either better or worse for society, irrelevant of that.
I know it's closing, but quickly, Alejandro, just I don't like it. So in order to decide whether feminism is or is not a good thing for society, we need to determine what feminism is. And if a large group of people are saying, well, feminism is the advocacy for biological females, and another group is saying that feminism is the advocacy for women,
Well, that's just
then
like a specifier, because you can say it's women or females. Feminism is it includes female or women or whatever, but that again, that's just broadening like the definition of feminism in a way. It's a question about who fits into feminism. It's not a question about whether feminism is better or not.
All
Yeah,
right.
but
Well, isn't
but
the question, is feminism better or not?
well, the problem that I
Better
have
for
there is that
society, yes or not?
if a feminist is
so,
is
Mike,
if a
can
feminist is
we hold on? Can we get done with the final
yeah,
thoughts?
sorry.
I'm sorry, Max. I'm sorry,
Not
Max.
Also,
today.
sorry,
I'm
Yeah.
tired.
just like a little more regarding like the trans thing. It's interesting to me that people always bring up trans women in sports, but they literally forget the fact that there are sports where women perform better than men. That seems like a nuance that is always lost in these kinds of discussions, and I think it speaks a lot about the level of information people get about that topic. And yeah, also nobody talks about like trans men. No, yeah, trans men in women's sports was, or trans men in men's sports. No, trans men in men's sports was. I
Yeah.
guess. And yeah, that they don't seem to have a problem with that because, well, there's literally no. Uh, Usually there are the disadvantage due to testosterone and shit like that. And there's also the nuance missing regarding if trans women start treatment before or after puberty. So there's always a lot of nuance missing in these topics.
What baffles me is people talking about women's sports when they've never even tuned into a single match of any kind of women's sports. It's funny. Isa, final thoughts.
Let's see. I think my position is that it's hard for me to say this, but I'm gonna have to. I think Rachel takes the win for this debate, not because I think it was exponentially better, but because, like, I agree with what John was saying. I think there was more. She offered more structure. Yes, there was definitely like the asides to trans and birth rates, and I think that these things are useless and don't really help support the debate. I understand a little bit with the trans. You're like, well, what is gender? What does that mean compared to sex? Like, I get that argument. However, I think it's not really the core of what feminism's about. It's kind of more of an aside of it. So I think that was kind of lost. And I think the real reason why I don't think Amanda didn't win or didn't really gain points is that Amanda did not. It was Amanda's job to tell us what feminism is and why it was good and why it's good. If you're taking an affirmative, you've got to explain what your position is, and that's what kind of Rachel got Amanda on. Rachel's like, "What do you mean by these things?" Rachel used her entire opening to basically poke holes at Amanda, and it was effective because you're saying it's rainbows and butterflies and it's this beautiful, wonderful paradise, but I don't know what that paradise is. Because all you've demonstrated to me is, oh, there's equality and it's good for men, it's good for women. That's nice, that's sweet, but I need to know I need your clear, defined terms of why it is what you're saying it is. And again, I bring up God's Not Dead. It's the same argument about what a Christian is, and Max knows now because he watched the movie.
Oh my.
We don't know what a Christian from God's Not Dead. We have no idea what a Christian actually is, according to the movie. All it is, it's a nice, good person. It's a nice, good person who believes in God. That's all what a Christian is. We don't know anything beyond that from that. That's the same thing that Amanda brought us for feminism, is that it's a nice, good person who believes in equality. That's great, but what is feminism? I don't know. And I always bring this up in every single debate. If I don't know what your topic is and what you're arguing for, and you just say it's good and wonderful, it's the same problem I had with the Hinduism debate. His name was Arjuna. He couldn't really tell us what Hinduism was. He's like, oh, I'm perennialist. I like believe in dharmic, Santana Dharma. I'm like, that's great. That's awesome, bro. I need to know what this thing is. And this is where I think Amanda failed. And I think Rachel looked better in this position. I don't agree with all the arguments for it, but I see what she did. She came off looking better. So when you come to these debates, you got to come strong. You got to know what your points are. You got to know your facts. And I think progressives and leftists, particularly on platforms like Modern Day Debate need to come clean and they need to come prepared. That's what I have to keep promoting. Come prepared for this position. Don't come and just be like, this is just an easy show. Like if you're going to debate, flat Earth and you're a glober, you need to excuse me, you need to come with clear and easy facts that folks can get. So overall, looking at this debate, I think there's a lot we can learn from it. I think there's a lot we can understand about debating, and we need to learn how to define our terms. I think that's key.
All right, thank you so much. I don't know, Amanda. You need to do better. It strikes me as weird that she said she was a debate coach and then got asked on the fly the laws of logic and couldn't answer. She said her deflection was she was tired. Like, you need to do better than that. So yeah, I don't know.
Why would you ever go into a debate stating that you're a debate coach? That just sorry, Max. Yeah,
that's what she said on DebateCon. And but then in that very same interaction, Rachel insulted her, and she was like, "That's an ad-hom," and it wasn't. It was just like she just insulted you. She wasn't saying anything about like an argument, just an insult. So weird interaction. I think she needs to do better. If you're going to be debating Rachel, you can't come. Make sure you're not tired and that kind of stuff, because it's like debating Whitted. If you don't know their stick, it's not good enough that you read half her book. Finish reading her book and start doing, like, putting in the work to debunk, because all of the citations, it's a very flirty thing. All of the citations debunk what she says. So you just need to put in the work and do that and point it out, and you're done. But it takes a while. So yeah, I think Rachel did better than Amanda today. But that being said, Rachel's arguments are stupid as hell. All right.
Can I get a final word?
Looks like we're all in agreement. We're in agreement on this panel.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my final word is coming in super late and missing most of it, but just reading Feminism, Good or Better for Society. I think it's definitely good for society. I think women should be allowed to have credit cards. I think women should be allowed to vote. I've heard from what you guys were talking about a lot of trans issues. And to me, you know what? Let's make every bathroom unisexual. Everybody goes to the bathroom. Who cares? Most people want to go in, empty their body of whatever they need to empty their body of, and get the hell out. That's all most people want to do. They're not in there looking for anything else. They're not looking in there for other people. They're not being creepy and stuff like that. And if somebody goes in there and is being creepy, well, guess what? That's a creep. So you're going to get a creep is going to be a creep, and it doesn't matter. So why not just make all bathrooms just unisexual, and who cares? Because most people won't care. They'll just go in, empty their body out of what they need to empty out, and get the hell out of there, because that's what most people do, I think. So that's how I would solve the transsexual issue right there.
That is one of my arguments against that. It's like, yeah, maybe why don't we just focus on making bathroom safes for everyone, and that's it. It's not a problem about
But it is they are safe for everyone. It's only safe for people when a creep goes in, and a
right.
creep can go into any bathroom. There's nobody policing that. There's nobody standing outside like looking at your badge and saying, "Are you a creep or you're not a creep?" But you know that doesn't happen. So if a creep's going to go in, a creep's going to go in. It doesn't matter which bathroom it is. It doesn't matter male, female. It doesn't matter anything else. None of that matters. Most people want to go in, do their thing, and get the hell out. I don't know anybody who goes to a public bathroom and wants to just like hang around. I mean,
as a self-proclaimed creep, I take my creep badge off when I go into the ladies' bathroom. So,
All right.
okay. Well,
With that, thank you everyone for being here. Before you go, make sure to the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and you subscribe to Share Mate Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. When is the next debate on MDD? Give me just a moment. I think it's on the 16th. What day is that? 16th. That's Tuesday. Okay.
I'm sorry. I just got to say something real quick. Somebody was saying unisex bathrooms are a nice idea, but they require some engineering. It doesn't require engineering. Just put a label on the door. It's a unisex bathroom. Period.
Everyone can use.
Just go in and use it. Who cares? That's
like
it.
The water like the toilet bowl.
There's no. Yeah.
Everyone can use that.
There's no extra engineering involved in it.
I mean, houses have one bathroom that is not segregated.
Everyone
seems to be dealing fine with that.
Every house in the world has a unisex bathroom. I mean,
Right.
I don't know about the world. I don't know about the world. Excuse me. I can't say for the world.
I think the only place where I'd give ground to the engineering comment, albino bad guy, is there are a lot of bathrooms in the world where the cubicles are dog shit. They're not cubicles, they're sieves. You know, the gaps around the doors are massive. Like, for the sake of privacy, if we're going to make them unisex, let's at least have actual sealed cubicles as opposed to. So I think but if the bathroom is shitty for men, it's shitty for women too. So what? I mean, really, if they're segregated by sex, then
better bathrooms for everyone.
But I'm just saying it's a higher quality bathroom is a high quality bathroom, and a lower quality bathroom is just sucks. And I hate going to the lower quality bathrooms, but if I have to go, I go. And again, it doesn't matter. I mean, if I was in a lower quality bathroom and some woman walked in on me taking a dump and I didn't have a door on the thing, I wouldn't be afraid of anything. And I mean, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just trying to empty my body, and the same thing vice versa. If a woman was in there emptying her body and I walked in on her, I was just like, oh, excuse me, and walk away, because I'm not a creep, and creeps are going to be creeps, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's
it's not gonna
erogenous ever when someone is like peeing or pooping. That's when
that's not going to excite me in any way. I would look at that and say, oh, excuse me, and walk away and look away, so
I mean, I start getting like, oh, just thinking about it is giving me the hots. All right, we are done with that. Thank you, everyone. We'll see if we do something tomorrow or Wednesday. Take care. Have a great night. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll be seeing each other. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Max, for giving me that visual of you walking in.